It was supposed to be just another ordinary Friday. The school bell echoed through the halls of Willow Creek High, a small town school tucked deep in the heart of Oregon. Students buzzed with excitement. It was the last day before spring break, and the junior class had a field trip planned to visit the infamous Whispering Tunnel, an abandoned railway passage nestled in the forested outskirts of town. A local legend filled with ghost stories and creepy rumors passed down over decades. No one took it seriously. No one. Except Nathan. 17-year-old Nathan Carter was the quiet type. He kept to himself, rarely joining the noise of his classmates. Lately, though, something had shifted. He hadn't been sleeping well. His nights were filled with vivid, haunting dreams. In them he saw darkness swallowing metal, screams echoing off stone walls, and a violent crash that always ended with silence. Cold, endless silence. That morning, as he walked toward the school bus, Nathan stopped in his tracks. The field trip flyer was pinned to the school bulletin board, flapping gently in the breeze from a nearby open window. As his fingers brushed the paper, everything around him halted. Time froze. A piercing screech filled his ears, and then chaos. Flashes of images, the yellow school bus flipping mid-air, its frame crunching against jagged rocks, classmates screaming, windows shattering, a tunnel collapsing in a cloud of smoke and earth. And then, nothing. Nathan gasped, stumbling back. His heart pounded, his hands trembled. The hallway came alive again. Voices, footsteps, the rustle of backpacks. But Nathan stood still, pale and breathless. He had just seen something. Something real. Out by the buses, the students gathered with snacks, earbuds, and jackets tied around their waists. Among them was Emily Moore, Nathan's closest friend since 5th grade. She caught sight of his blank stare from across the parking lot and walked over, her blonde ponytail bouncing as she moved. "You look like you just saw a ghost," she said, half joking. "I saw something, Em. I don't know how to explain it. We can't go. That tunnel. Something bad is going to happen." Emily tilted her head. "Nathan, you're scaring me." "I'm serious. I saw the bus crash. I saw us all inside that tunnel. We didn't make it." She stared at him, waiting for the punchline. But there wasn't one. Nathan's voice trembled. "I think it was a vision." Emily took a step back. "A vision? I know how it sounds, but everything felt real, too real. Please, we can't go on that trip." Just then, Coach Daniels blew his whistle. "Let's go, people. Wheels up in 5. The group began boarding, their laughter echoing through the parking lot. Nathan grabbed Emily's wrist. "Please, trust me. I know what I saw." Something in his eyes made her pause. Emily had known Nathan forever. He wasn't the type to make up stories, and she had seen the fear etched deep in his face. "Okay," she said, "let's tell someone." But who would believe them? They were just kids, and time was running out. Inside the bus, Jake, the class clown, mimicked the Whispering Tunnel legend with a flashlight under his chin. Everyone laughed. No one noticed the way the light flickered just a second too long. No one saw the shadow that darted across the back window, and as the engine roared to life, Nathan and Emily stood frozen on the curb, watching their classmates roll away into the morning mist. The bus disappeared around the bend, swallowed by the dense pines that lined the road. Nathan's breath came in shallow bursts, his hands clenched into fists. Emily stayed by his side, her face a mix of fear and doubt. "We should call someone," she said. "The police, the school, I don't know." "They won't believe us," Nathan replied. "They'll think we're making it up." Still, they tried. They ran to the principal's office, to the front desk. No one took them seriously. At best, they were told to calm down. At worst, they were accused of pulling a prank to get out of the trip. As the clock ticked past 10:15 a.m., Nathan felt a sudden, gut-wrenching pull in his chest. a weight, like something had snapped inside him. His knees buckled. The walls seemed to shake. That's when the sirens started. Half an hour later, the news broke. The school bus, carrying 26 students and 2 teachers, had crashed inside the Whispering Tunnel. No survivors. The scene was horrific. Rescue. Crews found the wreckage twisted and buried under collapsed stone. Officials said a landslide had triggered the collapse just as the bus entered the tunnel. It was fast, violent, immediate. Nathan and Emily sat in the nurse's office when they heard. Neither spoke. They didn't need to. The truth hung heavy between them. He had seen it, and no one had listened. Over the next few days, the town of Willow Creek went into mourning. Candles lined the school steps. Photos of the students were taped. To lockers, windows, trees, the Whispering Tunnel was sealed permanently. Reporters flooded the town, but Nathan kept his head low. He felt like a ghost walking among the living. But it wasn't over, because that night, as he lay in bed, eyes wide open, sleep impossible, Nathan heard something, a whisper coming from the closet. Nathan sat up in bed, his breath caught in his throat. The room was dark, too dark, like the shadows had grown teeth. He stared at the closet door, barely ajar. The whisper came again, faint, broken, like wind threading through cracked glass. Nathan. He froze. The voice wasn't his mother's, it wasn't Emily's. It was familiar, chillingly so. It sounded like Jake, who'd been laughing at the back of the bus just hours before it crashed. Jake, who was now dead. Nathan stood, legs shaking, and approached the closet with cautious steps. The whisper repeated, more urgent now. "Help me!" He flung the door open. Nothing, just coats and sneakers. But then, the mirror hanging on the inside of the door shimmered, and in the reflection, he saw the tunnel, stone walls, cracked pavement, a smear of blood across a window, and Jake, pale, broken, staring directly at him from the other side. "Nathan," Jake gasped, eyes wide. "It's not over. We weren't supposed to die. Something took us." Nathan stumbled back, slamming the closet door shut. He didn't sleep the rest of the night. By morning, he'd made a decision. He had to know more. He needed answers. Emily met him at the edge of town. "You look like hell," she said softly. "I saw Jake," Nathan replied. "In the mirror," Emily blinked. "What?" "He spoke to me. He said it wasn't supposed to happen, that something took them." Emily hesitated, then pulled something from her bag. It was an old, faded newspaper article. The headline read, "Tragedy Strikes Field Trip, 1974. "Same tunnel," she whispered. "A class from another school. Same exact thing. Collapse. All dead." Nathan took the paper with trembling hands. "Why would they let us go there?" Emily's voice dropped. "Because no one who survives ever talks." Nathan and Emily sat in the town library for hours, digging through old clippings, school records, and obscure blog posts. What they found chilled them to the bone. Every 20 years, like clockwork, a group of teenagers died under mysterious circumstances near the Whispering Tunnel. In 1974, it was a bus crash. In 1954, it was a hiking group lost in the woods. Their bodies never recovered. In 1934, a train derailed inside the tunnel. No survivors, no clear cause. Always young people, always sudden, always forgotten. The reports were vague, some even erased, witness names missing, evidence sealed or lost. Nathan leaned back in his chair, staring at a photo from 1954, a blurry image of 6 smiling teens. One of them looked eerily like Jake. "This can't be coincidence," he muttered. Emily nodded slowly. "What if it's a cycle? What if something feeds?" Nathan didn't want to believe it, but the signs were there, and Jake's message haunted his every thought. We weren't supposed to die. That night Emily had a dream, vivid, almost tactile. She was inside the tunnel, cold stone pressed against her skin. She heard crying, then whispers, then laughter. Wrong, distorted laughter. A pale hand grabbed hers, pulling her deeper. Into the dark, she woke up screaming. Her phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. They're not resting, none of them are, and neither will you. She threw the phone across the room. Nathan called seconds later. I saw the others, in the mirror, all of them. They're trying to get out. What do you mean, get out? They're trapped, Em. That tunnel, it's not just a place. It's a door that never should have been opened. Nathan and Emily met just before dawn, at the edge of the forest trail that led to the whispering tunnel. Morning fog curled around the trees like ghostly fingers, and the air was thick with a silence that pressed into their lungs. We shouldn't be. Here, Emily whispered. We have to be, Nathan replied. I think it only ends when the door is closed. They made their way through the overgrown path. The tunnel loomed ahead like a gaping wound in the hillside, sealed off by rusted fences and warning signs. But someone, or something, had cut the lock. The metal gate creaked as they stepped inside. The air turned ice-cold. Each footstep echoed like a scream swallowed by the walls. Faintly, Nathan could hear whispers again. Not words, just sounds. Pain, regret, hunger. Halfway in, Emily stopped. Look, she said, pointing at the wall. Scrawled in jagged charcoal were names, dozens, maybe hundreds. All faded, some recent. Jake's was there, so were the names from the 1974 class and the 1954 group. It's a grave, Nathan whispered. A prison. They reached the spot where the bus had been found. Nothing remained now. No debris, no bodies, not even broken glass. Just a burn mark scorched into the stone. Then came the voice. You weren't supposed to see. It wasn't Jake this time. It was something deeper, older. A chorus of the lost speaking as one. You stole their place. The shadows moved. Faces flickered along the walls, familiar and not, pale, twisted. Their mouths stretched open in endless screams. Emily grabbed Nathan's hand. Run! But the tunnel had shifted. The exit was gone. The air thickened. A pulse vibrated through the stone, and from the center of the burn mark, a figure rose, tall, skeletal, draped in black mist. It had no eyes, just a mouth, wide, waiting. The figure stood motionless, yet its presence crushed the air around them. Nathan's legs wouldn't move. Emily clung to him, her fingers digging into his arm. The whispers turned into screams, a cacophony of voices spiraling in all directions. Then the creature spoke again, not aloud, but inside their minds. You broke the order. You cheated death. Flashes of the accident overwhelmed Nathan's thoughts. The bus flipping, metal crunching, friends dying, and now their faces twisted in torment behind this thing. This being that had fed for generations. Emily found her. Voice. What are you? It answered simply. I am balance. Suddenly the shadows lunged, arms, faces, desperate spirits, clawing at Nathan and Emily. Jake was among them, his eyes pleading, his mouth forming silent words. Set us free. Nathan screamed and grabbed a rusted rod from the ground, swinging wildly. He connected with one of the walls, and the entire tunnel shuddered. A crack split through the stone, then another. The entity screeched, a deafening ancient roar that shook the earth beneath their feet. Emily pointed to the symbol, scorched. On the ground, a circle, like a seal pulsing faintly with red light. That's the door, she cried. We have to close it. Nathan dropped to his knees and slammed the rod into the circle. The entity shrieked. Shadows burst upward like smoke being vacuumed into the void. The tunnel trembled violently. Rocks fell. The exit reappeared in a flash of blinding light. Go! Nathan shouted, grabbing Emily's hand. They ran. The whispers grew louder but farther away. As they crossed the threshold, the tunnel collapsed behind them, sealing with an explosive thud that echoed into silence. The forest returned, still, cold, quiet. They were safe. Or so they thought. Because as they walked back to town, breathless and shaking, neither of them noticed the mark that had appeared on Nathan's wrist, the same symbol from the tunnel, now burned into his skin. The door may have closed, but something had followed them out. The next few days were a blur. Willow Creek was haunted by the loss, the aftermath of the crash. Memorials were held, flowers laid at the foot of the school steps. Nathan and Emily tried to return to normal, but every time Nathan looked at his wrist, the scar was there, faint but unmistakable. It was as if the world around them had changed. His mind buzzed with a growing sense of unease. The shadows seemed deeper now. The whispers lingered, soft but persistent. When he closed his eyes, he saw them, the faces of those lost. Jake, the 1954 group, every victim of the tunnel. They watched him, trapped in a cycle they couldn't escape. The nightmares returned, vivid, suffocating. The same tunnel, the same death. But this time, something was different. A presence, watching, waiting. One night, as Nathan tossed and turned, he felt it, the cold again, seeping through the walls, pouring from the very floor beneath him. He opened his eyes to see a figure standing at the foot of his bed. It wasn't human. It had no face, just darkness, swirling and writhing. But in its center, an endless void, the absence of life, of everything. "Nathan!" the figure rasped. His body froze, his heart pounding in his throat. "You cannot escape it," the figure whispered. "You belong to it now. The cycle must continue." Then, just as quickly as it had appeared, the figure dissolved into the air, leaving Nathan gasping. In the dark, the following morning, Emily found him outside. His eyes were judged with terror. "They found me," he whispered. "It's still coming for us." Emily didn't understand. She couldn't, but when she touched Nathan's wrist, the symbol burned brighter. She knew it wasn't over. "I left a song especially made for this story, for you who accompanied us to the end. I hope you enjoy. Comment on music if I have come here. Don't forget to subscribe and enjoy to continue in this format. May God bless you, and until the next exciting story.
One by one, the names erased, buried deep in time's embrace.
Faces frozen, echoes cry, beneath the ground where secrets lie. We ran, we screamed, we should have died, but somehow fate let us survive. But every night they call my name, and nothing's ever been the same. A mark that burns beneath my skin. The door is closed, but not within.
Whispers in the tunnel, voices in the dark, trapped in the silence, leaving a scar.
You can run, you can fight, but the past won't stay in the night. We escaped, or so it seemed, but you can't outrun the tunnel scream. I saw your face inside the flame. I heard the cry, I knew your name. You're not gone, just trapped in time, calling from that twisted line. Whispers in the tunnel, voices in the dark, a curse reborn with every spark. We can run, we can try, but some doors never say goodbye. We escaped, or so we dreamed, but no one leaves the tunnel scream.